Welcome back to Astro Playground. Uh, got an interesting video today. We're going to talk a little bit about a new product, possibly two, that I'm really excited about. One of the things that I haven't been able to do in the last few months is actually get the telescope set up and out of its packing. My C14 has been in a soft case for the last 5 months, basically because of the moving process. So to be able to get it out and set it up, get it up on the rig, and have something to talk about in a new video is something a long time coming, and really excited about that. The topic for today is one of the new products from Celestron, and it happens to be their new Dew Heater solution for SCTs. This is the Celestron Dew Heater Ring that will replace the existing stock ring that is on the corrector plate now. These rings come in sizes from 5 inches all the way up to the one that we're going to use today, which is a 14-inch. It is a large ring. It requires a certain amount of care and a delicate touch to be able to get this done correctly. We are going to be working in very close proximity to the corrector plate, and that opens the door for potential problems, accidents. The last thing you want to do is to scratch that corrector plate. So what we're going to do is go through step by step as to how we're going to do this, what we're going to do, and then we'll invert the telescope and have a bird's eye view with the other camera to look down on so that we can get this done. Celestron has just recently put this out. This is their new Dew Heater Ring. It is touted to be used with their control unit. I opted not to go with the control unit, basically because I have a Luce Eagle 3 Pro that has the Echo unit on it and Dew control and all that. So I'll be able to plug this directly into the Eagle and control it that way. So I don't need the extra control box, which is nice. I did already open this just to kind of inspect it. It is an ingenious idea. This particular idea has been talked about for quite some time now. I have a friend of mine on Astro World, Eric, who, if you have never been over to Eric's channel, Astro with Eric, go check him out. He has some great videos up there, and he is, of course, a trusted and valued member of Astro World and Astro World TV. Just as a quick plug on that, we have shows every week, twice a week, Wednesdays at 9 Eastern Standard Time, and Fridays at 8 Eastern Standard Time. Wednesdays is more technical, talking about the finer points of advanced imaging, astro imaging. Fridays is more for beginners, and we answer a lot of questions and so on and so forth. We try to stick to that format. It never seems to work. We always go off the rails and down to other subjects, and so. But that's okay. We have a lot of fun, and so come check us out on Astro World TV on YouTube. This is the new Celestron Dew Heater Ring, and anybody that has an SCT, an Edge SCT specifically, recognizes this ring. I'll just give you a little closer look at it. So as you can see, it has all of the relevant numbers and so on and so forth. But the thing that's different about this is that it has this heating element on the back. And that heating element, as you can see in that gold, that heating element is what makes direct contact with the corrector plate. So we're going to go ahead and see about getting this inverted, and we'll get it installed. and we will be back in just a minute. All right. Okay. So what we will do first is to rotate the scope. We have to invert it. The kit that Celestron sent with the Dew Heater Ring comes with a large paper. Well, I'll just show you if I can get to it easily. This paper ring goes down on the corrector plate to prevent any accidental damage to the plate, which for any scope would be disastrous. It would be catastrophic on a scope this size. So this is a very good addition. So what we'll do first is go ahead and rotate the scope so that we can access it from directly down on, looking directly down on top. That's what the secondary camera is for. We'll get a bird's eye view of that. And I will have to turn that camera on and get it set up, but that shouldn't be a big deal. So we will go ahead and rotate the scope. And again, it has to be pointed directly at the zenith. So okay, that looks pretty good. Yep, that looks pretty good. So we will go ahead and pull our lens cap off. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera on first. Okay, we have the Nikon running. We'll go ahead and pull our corrector plate, or pull our, excuse me, my mistake, pull our lens cap off, expose the corrector plate. And as you can see, the corrector plate is easily accessible. There we go. So as you can see, the corrector plate is fully exposed, and we should be able to now remove the subsequent screws that allow for this ring to be held in place. This is the reason that you want to have the scope inverted. You do not want, in removing this ring and gasket, you don't want that plate to shift. All right? You want it to stay exactly where it is. So in removing this, you need to be very careful not to move that corrector plate. So we'll go ahead and get our screwdriver and place our protective shield in place and see about getting this done. Okay. Got my trusty screwdriver, and we're going to go ahead and get the corrector plate exposed. Turn our camera on here. We're going to take our protector ring, and this is going to go right up on here, just like that. And now we should be able to very carefully remove those screws ever so gently. a nice safe place for the screws here. The other thing that is notable is that when you put the new ring on, Celestron has a recommended bolting, or I should say tightening pattern. And that's probably a very good thing. It will prevent, or at the very least, it should greatly minimize the chance of warping the ring, which you don't want to do. So we will adhere to that bolting pattern, that tightening pattern, and hopefully we shouldn't have any problems. So far this is coming off relatively simply. Yep. One more. Looks like one more. Yes, one more. There we go. So now we should be able to go ahead and very carefully lift that ring off, just like that. And there is a gasket on there. You can see that. It's very, very thin gasket. It's the same color. It's black, so you kind of it might be a little difficult to see. You can see it there in the reflection, that gasket. You want to make sure that comes off with the ring. In my case, this looks like it's adhered. It's glued to it, so which is a good thing. Now, just a quick inspection and see how we're looking. Everything looks good. So we should now be able to go ahead and install. Now, the instructions that come with this are fairly straightforward. In the instructions here, as you can see, it's telling you that there is the retention ring, and then there's this gasket. Now, in my case, the gasket is adhered to that ring. That may not be the way it is for all of the SCTs, different sizes. They may have a two-piece gasket that you need to remove in addition to the ring. So pay close attention to that. I'm going to very carefully just examine to make sure. And yes, there is no other gasket there. So what I'm also going to do now is just carefully remove this paper, and I want to just ever so gently just clean the edges. And I have my trusty cleaning kit, and if you're not using these particular pads, these are what are called PEC pads. They are optical neutral, if you will. They will not leave lint. They don't scratch, God forbid. And it's always a good idea to use fluid in conjunction with the PEC pads. In this case, this optical fluid that I'm using is called the Eclipse cleaning fluid, as you can see there. Right. It is meant for high-grade optics, sensors, so on and so forth. So you want to be very careful in doing this. You don't go crazy with it, just a little bit. And I've actually gone ahead and just prior to this, I had cleaned this. I'm just going to hit it one more time. Just because we've got a little bit of residual. But this is one of those things that cleanliness is always a very good thing, especially in optics and the corrector plates and such. So it's a very good thing. And things look pretty good, not bad. But any imperfections in the glass or stuff that's on the inside can be taken out with flats. And if you don't know what calibration frames are, flats, darks, flats, biases, things like that, there are lots of great videos on it. We talk about it in Astro World, and there are many videos that deal with that calibration frame. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and see about getting this ring installed, and it looks like we should be good to go. So this is oriented this way. So what we're going to do is see about, let me just put that safety protector back on. There we go. And then this will go up in here very gently. And I think we should be able to determine the position of the bolts just by taking one or two, for that matter, and just bullseyeing them, again, ever so gently. Use our screwdriver, try to get that going. Okay, yep. Need to make sure that my holes are lined up. So let me do that real quick. There we go. A little bit of a threading of the needle here, but should be able to get it. There we go. Now, I am not going to tighten these. I am just going to install them, and then we're going to follow the bolting pattern that is recommended by Celestron. There we go. So, and if you're careful, this should be a relatively easy install. So we'll just get the rest of the screws installed, and then we'll go ahead and look at the bolting pattern. And it's basically a star pattern, and not dissimilar to what you do, in bolting a manifold, onto an engine, or a head onto a block. There's a bolting pattern that's involved, and that's just basically to prevent warpage. You don't want this to warp. And we'll just get it close, and then we'll observe the bolting pattern. A little tedious on this, and a little bit kind of like watching paint dry. We've got the screws installed. We're just going to take them to where they're just beginning to make contact, and that will then set us up to do the bolting pattern as Celestron indicates. That is definitely a recommended procedure. You want to make sure that you're doing that, because especially on the larger SCTs, you don't want to warp the ring and possibly do any damage to it or to the corrector plate. The likelihood of damaging the corrector plate isn't worth the risk. So, especially in these larger SCTs. So, the bolting pattern is fairly straightforward. It looks like we are going to start up on this screw here, and we're just going to go in a particular star pattern, and basically going directly across to begin with, and then coming back in a chord. So we'll start here, and we'll go all the way across to here. And then we're going to come across to here. And we're going to come across to here. And then we're going to come across to here. And we're going to bring it back to here. And then back over to here. And back over to here. And actually, okay, we should be in good shape. Take our paper ring off very carefully. There we go. And that is the installation of the ring. Now, this does come with power, a power not adapter, but the clip for the connection for the 12-volt power supply. I am not 100% sure if I'm going to use this or something subsequent. I probably will leave this on as it was originally clipped, just because I think it will work better this way. And we should be able to just get those cords out of the way just by kind of spinning that and snapping it back in place. That should allow for the cords to kind of stay snug against the outer ring. There we go. At least allowing them to stay out of the visual field. This device here clips basically on the outer metal ring, and provides a positive connection for all of your cabling coming up to power the Dew Heater Ring. So that is basically the installation, and it's pretty straightforward. It looks good. No major problems. We'll just hit the corrector plate with the PEC pad one last time. Looks good. We should be in pretty good shape. Yeah, there we go. So that's the installation. If this kind of content is interesting to you, I know that this was pretty mundane, but the Dew Heater Ring itself should prove to be a very positive addition to the C14. I'm anticipating that the direct contact of the element on the corrector plate will provide an excellent source for heat directly to the glass, which will help to keep the fog and condensation and such off the plate. So I may continue to use an exterior ring to possibly heat up other aspects of the tube. But for right now, that's going to be our main dew protection, along with our dew shield, which is still packed up, but eventually the dew shield will go up on here, the Astro Zap Dew Shield. So again, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to our channel. Hit that notification bell and watch our videos all the way through. That really helps us out. I know that some of the videos are a bit longer. I apologize for dragging them out, but come back and see us again when you get those notifications, and come over and see us at Astro World. We again have shows every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and every Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we'll cover all things Astro, all things astrophotography, visual, planetary, so on and so forth. Setups, rigs, newbie questions for Friday night, technical aspects on Wednesday night. And we'll look forward to seeing you. If you do come over as a result of coming and visiting us here, say hi in the chat, and that you've come over from Astro Playground, and we'll look forward to seeing you. Until we have another video, until we see you again, we thank you to all of our subscribers for coming and following us, being patient with us over the last half a year or so as we've been in our move. We thank you for that, and we'll look forward to seeing you again. And until we do, keep looking up. Keep educating yourself as to the magnificence of our creation, and as you do peer into the heavens, I wish you the very best of clear skies and, of course, good health. Until we talk again, until we see you again, bye for now.